This is the last module in this chapter, and then we're going to be working on the practice test. A lot of this is going to be review for you. In this problem, we're going to find the volume of a rectangular prism. So if it's a rectangular prism, the volume is simply length times height times width. So the volume here is simply going to be 4 times 4 times 4. So that's 64. Let's do another one. Okay, the volume is 9 times 2 times 5. So 9 times 2 is 18, times 5 is going to be 90. And because we're doing yards times yards times yards, the units will be yards to the third. And they actually preload that for you. All right, area of a parallelogram. So we know that the area of a rectangle is simply length times width. And in a parallelogram, if I were to cut this piece off and slide it over, it's going to perfectly fit. And I create a rectangle such that the base of the rectangle has remained unchanged and the height of the rectangle has remained unchanged. So this rectangle here is exactly the same size as this parallelogram here. So the area of a parallelogram is base times height. If you know how tall it is and you know how wide the bottom is, then you can just cut the piece and move it over, and it's the same size. I haven't changed its size at all. So in this case, the area is going to be the base, which is 12 meters, times the height, which is 9 meters, and this number here is not needed. So that would be 108 meters squared. Okay, let's do another one of those. So this value is not needed. The base is 13 and the height is 7. So that's 70 and 21. So 91 centimeters squared. Why is it centimeters squared? Because it is centimeters times centimeters, and what we're really doing is counting up all of the 1 by 1 centimeter squares. All right. The length of a rectangle is 4 times its width. So if I draw length and width, we know that the length is equal to 4W. So I'm just going to replace L with 4W. So now the rectangle is listed as W and 4W. Multiply those together, 4W squared, and that is equal to the area. Oh no, sorry. That's not what I wanted to do. I didn't read the problem. So it says the perimeter is 100. So to travel all the way around this is 100. So this would be 4W and this would be W. So W plus 4W, this one plus this one plus this one plus this one is equal to 100. So W plus 4W is 5W plus W is 6W plus 4W is 10W equals 100 divide by 10, and I get W equals 10. So this side is, 10, and this side must be 40. So the length is 40 and the width is 10. Okay. Oh, let's do another one of those. So we draw our rectangle, length and width. And this says that the length is 4 longer than its width. So L equals W plus 4. So I can replace L with W plus 4, which means the top is W plus 4, and the left side is just W. So if I add all of these together, I get 4W plus 8. That's the perimeter, and it's equal to 60. Subtract 60. 4W equals 52. Divide by 4, and I get W equals 13. So if that is 13, then this must be 17. All right, last one. All right, area of a trapezoid. This is a little bit harder to do because we're not necessarily going to have any sort of symmetry. So this cutting and moving thing is not going to work like it did with parallelograms. But we still need to cut it. So we can cut it into one rectangle and two triangles. That area of that rectangle is 9 times 5, which is 45. And then we have to find the area of the two triangles. Well, this rectangle right here is, how are we going to find that? So it's going to be, so 17 minus 9 is going to give us, so that's 8. But that's going to tell us that 8 is split between this side and that side. I don't think they're the same size. They didn't tell us that those were the same size. Oh, I'm being dumb. Sorry, guys. So a trapezoid does have a formula that I forgot. That formula says if you were to take the midpoint of this line and the midpoint of this line, then we could cut this triangle and flip it up and stick it here. And we could cut off this triangle and flip it up and stick it there. Sorry, I had a sophomore moment. I apologize. So, how big is that new rectangle? Well, the height of the rectangle is easy. It's 5. But what about the length of the rectangle? It's going to be exactly between 17 and 9. So the original base was 17, and the original top was 9. And I cut off half of this one, and I cut off half of that one. So the new length is exactly half, is exactly between the 17 and the 9. So if I take 17 plus 9, I get 26, and I divide that by 2, the base is now 13. So the area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, and then we times that by the height. Can't believe I forgot that. So 13 times 5 is going to be 50 plus 15, 65 yards squared. Okay, so base 1 is 3, base 2 is 19, cut that in half, so 22 divided by 2 is 11, and then the height of that is going to be 8, so 88 inches squared. All right, okay, get to work.